Good evening and welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Emma Lingard. Tonight my studio guests are David Edgerton and Linda Solkeld from the Grimsby branch of the Workers' Educational Association. And Tom Reed will be delivering the latest news on the area's sport. But first it's over to James Dunn for a roundup of the news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, it was wrong to unfairly cast doubt on the safety at Leeds Heart Unit, says a Grimsby councillor. And be careful what you leave on show, thieves will steal any old rubbish these days. A Grimsby councillor who spearheaded a local campaign to save the Heart Unit at Leeds says it was wrong to make accusations casting doubts on safety which have proven to be unfounded. Surgery at the unit was suspended for 2 weeks last March because of concerns over the 35 children who died after surgery between 2009 and 2013. It was just days after the government's decision to close the unit was quashed by the High Court following a public campaign against the closure. A year-long review has now found that the number of deaths was not excessive, but did highlight cases in which families received a poor level of care. News that the unit will remain open has been welcomed by North East Lincolnshire councillor Peggy Elliott, who hopes people can now be confident that the hospital is safe.
It's wrong that they have made these accusations to Leeds that have now been unfounded. And of course this is the second time. A year ago the same thing occurred and it went to High Court and it was found that that was not the case. So I'm hopeful this time that at least that cannot be used as a way of helping to close Leeds unit.
A dog trainer has urged people to consider the breeds they buy after an incident involving a Japanese Nikita in Healing. A woman was walking her two dogs in the Marsh Lane area at around 6 a.m. yesterday when the Akita attacked one of them after escaping a nearby field. Police contacted the owner who came to collect the animal, but a dog-on-dog attack is not necessarily a crime. Happy Hounds trainer Susan McCown thinks that the law surrounding dangerous dogs is confusing and asks people to consider the needs of particular breeds when choosing a pet.
Yes, behaviour problems are on the rise, and I think there's several reasons for this. Life in the 21st century and in a modern home is very different to life many years ago when dogs were being used for a certain job. You know, they were bred for a purpose. And nowadays there are many people who have dogs that are working dogs, high energy dogs, who perhaps work all day, the dog's pent up all day in a house or an apartment, and the dog's emotional and physical needs just aren't being met, and that can certainly contribute to behaviour problems.
A war hero from Hull has sadly died 2 weeks after being given the war medal he waited nearly 70 years for. Frank Holmes was third officer on a merchant navy ship that delivered aid to Russia in the Second World War and served in numerous other conflicts. Winston Churchill described his journey to Russia as the most dangerous in the world, but it wasn't until 2013 that it was announced he and 40 other veterans would be given the Arctic Star. He was finally presented with the medal at his care home in Hull on February the 20th, but sadly passed away on March the 4th, less than 2 weeks later.
How do you feel? Extremely proud, he says.
His son John said, "Old heroes never die, they only fade away." More than 100 people have signed a petition against North East Lincolnshire Council's decision to close 2 public toilets at the end of the month. It claims very few people use the facilities on Market Hall in Grimsby and Grant Street, Cleethorpes, and that there are other public toilets nearby. A third toilet on Garibaldi Street is also likely to close, and the closures will save the council £50,000. A Friends group is to be formed to open up a church in Winterton to the community when it reopens after a £1 million refurbishment in 2015. All Saints Church is currently closed while the Heritage Lottery funded work takes place, but the new layout will make it a more versatile building. The congregation are now looking for people of all ages and backgrounds to join a Friends of group and play a part in the direction of the new building. Anyone interested can find out more at an information event held at the church on Thursday, March the 20th at 7 p.m.
It will still be the main focus for Anglican worship, the parish church of Winterton. But the space inside the church will be made much more user-friendly for the community.
Police have issued fresh warnings to clear your car of temptations for thieves after an incident in Hessel that proved they'll take any old rubbish. On Monday, a thief used a brick to smash 2 windows on a jogger's BMW X5, only to find the black bin liner inside was full of refuse. Nothing was taken, but the owner was left with a £300 repair bill. Police are appealing for witnesses in the Cliff Road area in Hessle, Foreshore, between 8:45 a.m. and 9:45 a.m. That's all from me. I'll see you next time.
Now, my guests in the studio today are David Edgerton, Chairman, and Linda Solkeld, Secretary from the Workers' Educational Association. The group in Grimsby, which opened in the 1920s, is part of a national organisation, which is the country's largest voluntary sector provider of adult learning. It was founded in 1903 to support the educational needs of working men and women. So welcome both to Estuary. David, if I can just ask you really, I know your particular branch is obviously the cultural strand
Yes.
In the area of the WEA, and you seem to have something for everybody. Just what types of courses and talks do you put on?
Just on the cultural side? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
we do. We have a course on railways, we have a
Okay.
course on poetry, classical music, which has been running for 42 years.
Right.
Jazz.
I think
History,
he needs help here, Linda. You've got
history,
there's so many.
archaeology,
Astronomy, Italian, art.
So very, very popular. And I know this was set up because obviously many years ago when it all began in the 1900s, it was because obviously people of the working classes couldn't afford education, could it?
either in money or time.
Okay, so how has it changed now then? Because obviously now it's open to all and sundry, isn't it?
It certainly
Really.
is.
So who goes to these types of classes?
In the week, our weekly day courses, a lot of retired people.
But you've got younger people that go,
Yeah.
because you do
Yeah.
have weekend
Well-
courses, don't you?
And
Yeah.
evening courses,
Yeah.
and those are mainly working people.
Okay.
At the weekend, on a Saturday afternoon at our lectures, we get a full mixture of everybody.
Okay, because that's, I suppose, from what I've heard or read about, the stigma is most people think of the WA being just for retired people, and that is simply not the case,
No,
is it?
that's not the case. We've illustrated that this year by putting on astronomy in the evening and Italian for beginners in the evening. We've gone into languages this year.
Right,
And predominantly, those are people that can't come during the day.
right, okay. Do you find this is it, if people are working, that's it, their time is limited, do you find that there is a call for more sort of like evening and weekend classes?
Well, our 2 forays into evening classes have been very, very successful.
Okay.
As are the Saturdays.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we saw that I interviewed Graham about the First World War music, which is happening, obviously, this weekend. And there is such a variety of classes, isn't there, which is phenomenal. Do people come to you and say, we want a class in this, or do you have to search around? How does it work?
Well, we are a democratic organisation, so that at the end, coming towards the end of a particular course, we say, in concert with the lecturer, we say, you know, what can you do? And then put that to the class.
Right.
And it's up to them to vote for it.
Oh, so,
And sometimes people do come and say, I'd like to do a Saturday lecture on, and I try and find the right speaker, the right lecturer.
I was going to say, because for that, the lecturers themselves, they are all qualified, aren't they? And the subject areas they're either
Absolutely.
teaching or
Highly
talking
qualified.
about.
Highly
yeah,
qualified,
Yeah.
yes.
And you have to source those, do you?
I do.
Is it easy?
Well, there is a database of WA lecturers, tutors, but we do an awful lot of other things and travel about, and I seem to manage to find all sorts of people that I'm very happy to go up and say, would you like to come and do a lecture for the WEA in Grimsby?
It's a good job, isn't it? Because you know, what is the most unusual request? Have you had an unusual request for a class?
Somebody wanted to learn Latin.
Right.
That wasn't a run, unfortunately.
It wasn't a runner, I'm afraid. No, we didn't. There wasn't a tutor, so we didn't do that.
Okay.
A lot of our Saturday tutors will know the WA from a while ago and are quite happy to come to Saturdays where they can't normally come during the week.
Yes.
Because there's a one-off 3-hour event. you see.
Okay. Okay.
They come from far and wide.
Okay. I mean, that is brilliant. And obviously, in terms of, you know, the courses themselves, you are actually based at the Grimsby Central Hall, aren't you? That's
Yes.
where
We
you hold a majority, do you, of your
Yep.
courses?
Yes, we
and then
do.
obviously there are outreach areas that you go into?
No.
Not really for
Do
us.
but you have WA.
Yes, WA is 4 strands.
Okay.
It's cultural that we look after.
Yeah.
It's return to work. It is health and well-being, and it is community.
Okay.
Now, Foresight are the community. They take up some of the WA provision for the
Right.
community. The various centres, West Marsh and East Marsh,
Okay.
they take up community, and in there will be back to work and money management, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
That the WA provide.
And
Okay.
also some children's centres they're
Right.
working
Yes,
there too.
sure stop.
Okay. So in terms of price, well, obviously people pay for these courses. I mean, are there any sort of like discounts for people of a certain age or a certain...
No, there
No,
isn't,
no,
I'm
that's
afraid.
illegal.
They told us that was discrimination.
Okay.
But there we are. For a 10-week course, it would cost £63.
Yeah.
But if people are on certain benefits, they can still come if they're
Right.
not working or if they're
Yeah.
sick. Certain benefits, and they get the courses absolutely free.
Okay, so, you know, and they're worth going to. You know,
Well-
after listening to Graham, that sounded such an interesting talk
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
going to. That,
Yeah.
you know, it's worth doing.
Obviously, £63 is quite a lot of money, but it's 2 coffees at Starbucks per session.
That's important.
That's what
that.
you put it in. The context you put it into.
I know Graham said the afternoon teas are for his class.
Oh, for the yes, for the Saturday afternoon lectures, the teas are famous.
Brilliant. Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. Thank you so much for coming in. And of course, if anybody out there is interested in a WA course, they can visit your website,
Indeed.
can't
Certainly
they,
can.
to see what courses you've got. Well, thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
Well, that's it. Now it's over to Tom Reed for the Sports Roundup.
Thanks, Emma. Now for the sports. After the euphoria of booking their place in the FA Cup semi-finals against Sheffield United, it's back to Premier League action for Hull City as they host Manchester City at the KC Stadium. The last time the sides met at the KC, it finished 2-1 to the Tigers. In Sky Bet League 2, Scunthorpe can make history if they travel back from Plymouth avoiding defeat. Grimsby face Wrexham at Blundell Park, looking to continue their late siege for the playoffs in the Skrill Premier, with Barnet 3 points ahead in the final playoff place. Lincoln City will be hoping that their star striker Ben Tomlinson can get back among the goals and fire the Imps up the table, starting at home to Braintree. In the Conference North, North Ferriby will be hoping of beating mid-table Worcester as they aim to go further clear of AFC Telford at the top. Curtis Woodhouse's Gull side are on their travels as they face Bedworth United, while Brigtown host Kidsgrove Athletic in the Evo Stick League Northern Premier First Division South. In the Tool Station, Northern Counties East League Division 1, both Grimsby Borough and Cleethorpes Town gained wins in midweek and will look to build on those results. Grimsby Borough host Donington Town, while Cleethorpes Town travel to Yorkshire Amateur. Elsewhere, Louth Town head to Teversall. Barnet B United are at home to New Holland Villa in the TSW Printers Scunthorpe and District Football League. In the men's hockey, Grimsby First head across the water to face Kingston upon Hull second, while Grimsby second face Barnsley second at the Ormiston Maritime Academy. Meanwhile, in the women's, Grimsby second face Driffield 4. In ice hockey, Hull Stingrays head to Scotland to face Dundee Stars. That's all for the sport this week, and then for more sports news and views, don't miss On the Bench this Tuesday at 6 p.m. right here on Estuary TV. I'm Tom Reed.
Well, that brings us to the end of another programme, and once again we want to tell you that we love hearing from you. So if you've got a news story, then please email news@estuary.tv, or maybe if you're into your social media, you can find us on Twitter. Just look for @EstuaryTV, or drop us a line via our Facebook page. Or alternatively, you may like the old-fashioned way, pick up the phone and give us a call on Grimsby 01472 315 561. And that's it. Until tomorrow, goodbye.